We have got beef in the
Oh
ARCA
boy.
Menard series right now. On Saturday, Drew Dollar and Corey Heim wrecked while fighting for the lead. Dollar got loose while he was underneath Heim and ended up taking both drivers out of the race. Now, Heim's crew chief and Heim's crew chief and team owner Billy Venturini, Drew Dollar's former team owner Billy Venturini, did not hold back in an FS1 interview after the wreck happened. Take a look.
Well, I mean, I know how David Gilliland feels. Like, Drew wrecks all your when he's driving for you, and then he wrecks it all when he's racing against you. So I can understand why he punched him in the eye over Bristol last year. Just typical bonehead move by Drew. He's killed a couple of my cars here, and now he's killed one and wasn't even driving for it. I mean, just look at it. Just pure lack of talent. Great kid, does not need to be a race car driver. He's got a lot of other things he'd probably do and make a good living.
Well, just this afternoon, Dollar fired back at Venturini, tweeting, "Talk about a pure lack of talent. Guess it took this guy about 14 years to figure out he didn't need to be a race car driver." Going to Racing Reference and pulling up Billy Venturini's ARCA stats, to which Venturini came back and replied, "Took you 2 days to come up with a reply? Who did you employ to give you this comeback?" So, Brandon, do you have a problem with Venturini's comments, Dollar's tweet, both or neither? What's your take on this beef that we have now in the ARCA Menard series?
This is pretty childish beef. I mean, I thought we graduated from middle school here. You see the same things in middle school hallways all the time, little fights like this. My goodness. And Billy Venturini, I didn't know exactly. I mean, I know about the team and everything, but I didn't know exactly what this gentleman looked like or what he talked like. I hope he's not like this all the time. He certainly seems like he's, I know he's been in the sport for a long time, but man, it definitely looked like someone who is not actually himself. So I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say this was a heat in the moment situation. And this is not the kind of response he would normally give. But my goodness, that. And that wasn't censored, by the way, on FS1. I believe we had to take care of that. Thank you, Ben.
Yes, we did.
But also just a sorry way to put yourself on a national broadcast. I really hope, Mr. Venturini, that was not your normal song and dance. As for the driver in question, Drew Dollar, I've just heard around the bend that he's not the best of drivers in all sorts of situations, but isn't he like 19 years old?
I believe he is 21.
Oh, well,
when I think about it, but yes, early 20s, and certainly on the younger side, still trying to develop in his career.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't in the car. I didn't see what Corey Heim saw from his mirror, but coming out of 4, that just looks like a driver that got loose. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, well, the thing was, I think Corey and Drew have a good relationship off the track, and I think Corey wasn't even too mad about it. He understood that it was a racing deal. The problem, and I think this is where Venturini is coming from here, is that we have seen this quite a bit from Drew Dollar. He has been a little bit more accident prone than his peers. We have a comment here from A Day in Life saying typical ARCA drama, but now on social media. I mean, it gives us something to talk about. We can say that at the bare minimum. But I think what Drew, my problem with Drew's tweet is that he showed the entire stat sheet for Billy Venturini's career as a driver, and they share the number in the win column with only one win. I don't know if that's what he was going for, but he also showed that Venturini, I can pull the tweet back up here. It's going to be pretty small. I don't know if you can tell, but his last 4 full-time seasons, he finished 6th, 5th, 4th, and 3rd in the point standings. And this is back when we had a much deeper field in the ARCA Menard series. There were a lot of Cup teams using their own cars for driver development and things like that. And if you take a look at the running at the finish column, it's a pretty decent ratio there. Not too different from Drew Dollar, who's had quite a handful of DNFs himself. So I don't really know what he was going for when he tweeted this out. It seems to me that he actually showed that Venturini, obviously they're one of the top teams in ARCA, so the Venturini family as a whole, as owners, they've done a fantastic job. But he had a decent career in the ARCA Menard series as a driver himself. I don't really know what he proved with this tweet here.
Yeah, it looked pretty decent as I went to full screen there and saw all the top 5s and top 10s. I don't know exactly what this proves, but
Yeah,
that's besides the point, though. I think Drew Dollar made a great, honest apology there. Even him being heat in the moment as well. On the day of the racetrack, that is, I think they're both kind of out of their lane, firing it up on the Bird app, but that's just the nature of it. And it gives us something to talk about. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's one of those things. It's forgotten by the next week.
The other thing, obviously, like I said, Dollar is still, a Toyota development driver, and Venturini are the top Toyota team in ARCA. I guess you could maybe throw in the KBM car that he's now driving, but I'm talking in terms of a multi-car team that primarily focuses on the ARCA Menard series. Venturini is the top dog there, and to kind of burn a bridge for a guy that you were driving for just 6 months ago. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that that's not the wisest decision to make either. So, like a day in my life here said, I think it's just typical ARCA drama, but it's pretty childish that it boiled over to the point where, I was going to play the clip anyway and ask what we thought of Billy Venturini's interview on television, and now we have tweets to talk about as well. Both of them probably could have handled the situation a little bit better, and I would have liked to have seen, maybe if Dollar had seen the interview on television, maybe I'm sure he has contact information for Billy. Obviously, he drove for him for a couple of years, so handle that outside of the public sphere so that we don't have to read all of your beef and everything. I think it's entertaining, I guess, but it at the same time it's kind of silly.
And that also shows some underlying dirt that maybe last year, even while driving for Venturini, that Venturini just had some overall hatred for his own driver. Well, this is just a venting out of what he's been feeling for the past couple of years.
I mean, in fairness, he did call him a great kid. So
that doesn't help. That's in the South. That's like saying "bless your heart."
Yeah,
and like completely ripping somebody to shreds. Yeah. Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah,
he's an idiot. Bless his heart.